about an equivalent of myself, but I feel drawn to you. And I haven't, I'm not a student of your work, but every time
Yeah.
I've seen a, a portion of a clip or two, or even an
Yeah.
entire clip, I've always been informed, impressed, and amused, you see, at the same time. So you're doing a pretty good job
Thank you. Thank you. I
of,
appreciate that.
this is what preachers are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Preachers are I think, correct me if I'm wrong, brother,
Yeah.
but I think preachers, real preachers, I'm not just talking about the people who think they're preachers. I'm talking about real preachers, the ones that pin the heart to the backbone,
Yeah.
uh, just with the word, just with the word of truth. Real preachers are the bards of the classical cultures, the men who understood the stories and the myths that held the history and
Yeah.
the metaphysical principles by which people lived. That is a preacher. If we want to borrow that term from the Judeo Christian culture. So I'm thinking that I'm speaking with a young bard, a young preacher like yourself,
Yeah.
and in the making. And this is a wonderful thing to witness, especially for someone at my age, and to have an opportunity to participate in, because you've, as a young man, you have tapped in to a conduit
Yeah.
of, how shall I say, I want to use the terms inspiration, revelation, even, but it's just a conduit of pure knowledge. And this is what I think your generation needs. And so I want to encourage you in that,
Yeah.
even if I'm, not participating in it in any way, but I do perceive a need for people of your generation and the ones coming up just behind you to have a chance to learn from old fellas like myself what we have to leave behind, you see, as
Exactly.
sort of guideposts. Uh,
Exactly.
so, yeah, are we in agreement there?
Perfectly.
Very
We are.
good.
We are.
Very good.
Actually, I actually have um, this notion of elderly people who are some of your age and maybe a bit younger than you, but elderly people who actually give me certain similar form of ideas you just shared with me right now.
Hmm.
And it is to a point. I'm more like some people tell me I'm more of an inspiration to them, and
Hmm.
some people see me as a motivational speaker.
Yes.
Some people see me as a lecturer.
Hmm.
Some people do see me as a preacher, even though I don't categorize myself as a preacher. I don't
Hmm.
categorize myself because a person can be a lecturer, but not necessarily a preacher.
Hmm.
And a person can be a preacher, but not necessarily, a lecturer. So
Yes. Yes.
I do find my ways, and the type of audience who listen to me, they seem to place me in certain categories, which in some context I can agree with them,
Hmm.
based on and I just loved it when you toppled the compliment you give me by even toppling it by saying you love the you like the amusement part as well.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
yeah, and I do put that in because when you're too serious, people don't actually take you serious. If you're so too serious about
Yes.
everything, people will never
That's
take you serious. So I try to
correct.
put in the chunks of amusement in order to stick to people's head, to make people remember those moments.
Mhm.
You understand? Because
Yes.
I couple it with some seriousness, but then I have to put in some amusement where people can actually, remember those important moments so that it
Mm.
sticks to the head,
Yes.
like that.
Technique.
Yeah,
Mm.
some people do also will tell me sometimes they feel like I'm very harsh. I don't see myself as being harsh, because people who know me physically and people who have had direct contact with me can see me as a down to earth and a humble person. But it depends from the perspective the person is looking at it from, because if you don't know why a snake is striking,
Hmm.
I think the snake is being offensive.
Yeah.
But if you know the reason why, as to why the
Hmm.
snake is striking, then
Yeah.
everything will make sense to you, because the snake must have been triggered by something for it
Hmm.
to strike. Because normally the snake is tamed, is calm.
Sure.
So many a times I'll have people who don't understand my perspective. The moment they have a one-on-one direct discussion with me, then their perspective about me changes. Then they are like, "Oh wow, now I understand why
Mm.
you do this, or you say this, or you say that." But
Mm.
it's a pleasure to be on your platform, because I've seen a lot of great people having discussions with you. I've actually watched more than a couple of your videos.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I seem to like the direction of discussion and conversations going through. But I wasn't really bothered when you actually got in touch with me and said, "Hey, we have to do something." I wasn't, because I know at the right time God will make it possible, and here we are.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. One of my students who's recently been following me for several months now, and lives in an adjacent state. His name is Brian, and he is a fellow who's retired from the military and
Yeah.
has a little bit of extra time on his hands and is interested in promoting the truth in whatever way we possibly can. And now I have him involved in a student panel that we want to have every 3 weeks or so. But when you came up in the conversation the other day, somebody's sent me a clip from you and said, "Well, what do you think about this?" And I was I was informed and amused at the same time. And so I told them
Yeah.
so. And I said, "Gosh, I'd really like to meet this guy." So here we are. Now, Brian proposed, in addition to the student platform, that we
Yeah.
do something on a maybe not too infrequent basis. I
Okay.
think it might be too much, but he mentioned weekly, a 20 or 30 minute blurb. Okay,
Yeah.
and the idea is this: to introduce a topic which he will choose from the current events.
Hmm.
A topic, a relationship, a dynamic, something that expresses the socio-political environment of the moment,
Yeah.
and then hand it to me and say, "Well, gee, Dr. O, what do you think of that?" And I won't know what the topic is. Okay, I
Okay.
will not know. All
Yeah.
right. So I like to be spontaneous, and that helps with the transfer of the spirit of authenticity, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not skilled in any form of pretense. So, I am what you see in me is what you get. So if I know something, I'll say yes, and if I don't, I'll say no, and he'll say, "Well, what about this?" He'll have two or three topics, and if I respond to one or the other of them, we'll discuss it. I'll discuss it for about 5 minutes or so. After
Yeah.
he introduces everybody and introduces the topic and gives it to me, maybe I do 5 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that, and then I'll turn to you. And the reason I want to turn to you is I want to get whatever it is that was the gist of my response. I want to get where it is that we might be able to find that in Al Quran.
Perfect.
Are you feeling me here?
I get you. I get you. I
All
get you
right.
perfectly. I
And
get you.
so, good, good.
Yeah.
I think this may be a formula that works.
It
Okay.
does work. It does work many a times. I've been in that position with a lot of different type of people, because the kind of work I do, the kind of lectures, or the kind of position I put myself out there to the
Mhm.
people, I tend to interact with a lot of people all over the world, and I seem to play different roles as to,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it depends on the category somebody will place me as,
Yes.
and it gets to a point somebody even takes me, some people take me as a counselor.
Yes. Yes.
You understand? So
Yeah.
it's
That's an
based on
honor. Mm.
exactly, that's an honor. So it's based on the context in which they want to place me by that
Mm-hmm.
that I can fit in at
Mm.
any given time. So whatever makes sense to my uh, to my standard, I fall in. Yes, I
Okay.
myself there. You know, but first of all, I can give you my introduction where you get to know actually who I am. Then from there we can carry
Sure.
forward of getting acquainted with each other.
Sure.
So my name is Shuaib Abdullahi, right? That is my 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 birth name. That is Shuaib Abdullahi, which is actually derived from the Quran. For instance,
Mm-hmm.
if we go to Quran chapter 11, verse 87, the prophet Shuaib was mentioned. So that's where my dad took that name and gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't actually coming from any, Arab supremacy concept or coming from any other type of,
Mm-hmm.
because of the Arabs or anything. So it is based on the Quranic concept, and which we
Sure.
all know Abdullah also means servant of God, but that is actually my surname, which, my father owns. So uh, I'm also known as Baba Shuaib. That is the name I'm mainly popular with, Baba Shuaib, and that is actually what the T-shirt I'm wearing. You can see the name,
Mm-hmm.
but in a mirror
Mm-hmm.
version, you know. So
And Baba means what? Father or?
Baba in Hausa language it means like a father, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So Baba Shuaib, this is a name also like a nickname given to me by my dad, which is
Sure.
Baba. So it's like a
Mm-hmm.
father Shuaib. So
Mm-hmm.
he actually gave me that name from my grandfather, who had the same name Shuaib. So
Mm-hmm.
his name is Shuaib. So my dad took that name and gave it to me
Mm-hmm.
because he said my grandfather was a great scholar in their own in his own time.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided to carry over that same heritage to me so that I can
Mm-hmm.
actually. So it is actually a blessing for my father to be alive to witness me actually giving lectures on the Quran, and he's
Yes.
actually,
I
grateful
can
and proud of
imagine
that.
that. Yes. Yes.
So Baba Shuaib is basically the easiest part of the name Shuaib Abdullah, because if I have to always keep saying Shuaib Abdullah, sometimes
Right.
people find it
Mm-hmm.
hard to remember. But when the
Yes.
moment I put the word Baba, Shuaib is easier for people to
Mm-hmm.
capture because it's just a four-letter word, Baba.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also known as the correctional officer. Now, the reason why my mainstream name on social media is correctional officer is because I like to take up issues which has been put in a wrong perspective concerning Islam. So I
Yes.
take up these issues and put them in the correct form.
Yes.
So I call that reinstatement, like to reinstate something.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because it has been
Sure.
taken out of state, so I have to reinstate it.
Yes.
So by calling my name correctional officer, it's not a name actually I gave to myself. I was inspired by it from someone's perspective who pointed direct to me and said, like, this guy is more like a correctional officer. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where I got that name.
Yes.
I was inspired by that name. So I took it up.
Mm-hmm.
And actually people actually accepted that name on me. And then,
How long ago was that?
I'll say this was about 3 years ago,
I
which I got
see.
the name correctional officer. But when I came online, I was using the name Shuaib Abdullahi. Then it transited to using the Baba Shuaib because a lot of people from my community in Ghana, they know me as Baba Shuaib, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I was born in Accra,
Mm-hmm.
Ghana, the capital city of Ghana. Um, so I took up the mantle to become a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker
Mm-hmm.
based on Islam, that is based on religion. And even though I've been to the Islamic school, which is the madrasa, the so-called Islamic school back in Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
madrasa,
Mm-hmm.
I've studied in Darus Salam. You call it Darus Salam. There's a
Yes.
madrasa, a school of thought called Darus Salam, which is in Ghana at that time.
Mhm.
And I've studied in Irshadiya, which is an Arabic Islamic school also. So combine together, I would say I've studied both places for 5 years, right?
Mhm.
Then uh, me coming out of Africa to Europe, where combinedly, I would say I've studied Arabic language for 13 years. So qualified by experience, I would say 13 years in general. Yes.
Mhm.
So with this experience that I had, it actually inspired me to delve deeper into the classical Arabic, uh,
Mhm.
because many a times they only teach us the modern standard version of Arabic in the Islamic schools,
Yes.
right?
Yes. I
So
was told that when I rubbed shoulders with the highest scholars in the land of Malaysia.
exactly, that is the point. And so many people who are studying the modern standard Arabic don't actually know the difference till actually if they dig in deeper, then they get to know the
Mhm.
difference in the Arabic language, especially the dialects and also the forms of
Mhm.
the
Sure.
language. So then I dig in deeper because it is worth digging in deeper in every aspect of life, because that is when you can come out with a lot of conclusions that people have never ever examined. And
Yes.
what, like, the reason why I'm saying that, even look at the surface of the earth. If you dig in deeper, the things you find, you'll be amazed.
Yes.
But if you are just looking at it from the face value,
Mhm.
you are missing a lot of details,
Of course.
right? So my curiosity tell me dig in deeper. So I started to see things uniquely arranged, presented in the Quran, way away from the way Arabs see the classical Arabic and the modern standard Arabic.
Yes.
So that inspired me to start doing online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran.
Mhm.
So I started with Facebook, and then I moved to YouTube, and then lately I moved to TikTok. So I've been on TikTok for 2 years, but I started going online doing lectures for since 2018, at
Mhm.
around August 2018.
Mhm.
So I've studied basics in the modern standard Arabic, grammar and comprehension in the elementary schools. That is, as I said, the Irshadiya and Darussalam in Ghana. And when I later on moved to Finland, which I'm based in Finland now. So I moved to Finland since 2010, and
Mhm.
I've been there till date, right? And so when I moved to Finland, I did some online studies for 8 years on how to
Mhm.
understand the structure of the Arabic language.
Mm.
Yeah, I took up some online studies on how to understand the structure. Now, one of the things that people don't understand about this modern day and technology is we are lucky to be in this modern day and age
Mhm.
of artificial intelligence. But the same way we can use it for a lot of good, the same way we can use it for a lot of harm and bad
Mhm.
things as well.
Mhm.
So it only depends on how deep we dig in deeper to see how we can benefit from it. And so by this, when I study the structure of Arabic language and its word forms, especially the classical Arabic, which they call Fusha, what happened is, through uh, my understanding of the variations of the dialects, I came to know that the Quranic Arabic is actually a classic as compared to the modern standard and the Fusha.
Mhm.
Now, this is something I really, really, really thought about it. I thought about it deeply with
Mhm.
even some learned people that I've encountered. We had discussions,
Mhm.
and I got to know that there's actually a difference,
Mhm.
because the ones the Arabs classified as classical Arabic does not match up with the clear Arabic language of the Quran.
So there's a third category.
Yes, there is.
Mhm.
And the reason why I'm saying is, the Quran brings perfection to the Arabic language, whilst classical, the Fusha, is derived, or I would say it is inspired by the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
So that puts me in mind of the ancient Greek myths and myths from other lands, because all of those myths contain a mystery.
Yes.
And so there's a classical understanding, and that's okay. So and so married, mated with so and da da da, and they begat this, that, and then the story. But there's a deeper meaning to the symbolism, and
Exactly.
this has not been transferred.
Yeah.
That's what I hear
Exactly.
you saying.
Exactly.
Oh my God!
Now,
Oh my God.
this can be inspired in Quran chapter 3, verse 7, when God classified a group of people as those deeply rooted in knowledge.
Yes.
Right? We have different levels of knowledge, and that there are
Yes.
different forms of knowledge because
Hmm.
knowledge is
Yes.
diverse.
Yes.
So as you keep going, it's like a journey. As you keep moving ahead, you keep getting you get upgrades, you get updated. You understand? You start peeling off some of the things you have learned before. You start to trim
Mhm.
it, shape it, organize it, update it, upgrade it. You understand? So things that made sense to you 10 years ago, those same things might not make sense to you now.
Yes.
But even though at that time it wasn't a contradiction, neither was it a lie. But
Hmm.
just that you find the higher level of understanding
Hmm.
to compare to the one you've learned in the past. So
Yes.
what I've noticed is
So
I
it's a
found out,
it's a
yeah,
progressive cumulative venture.
exactly, yes.
Mhm.
And I found out that this is why we have stages. Academically, we have stages to study.
Yeah.
You go to stage
Hmm.
one, stage two, stage three, because they have to build your brain or your knowledge to a
Yes.
certain point where your IQ or your intelligence can actually absorb that form of knowledge. And the reason why I'm saying that, I was inspired by this understanding from the Quran, actually. Quran chapter 18, verse 65 to 82. Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, when he went to seek for knowledge, he went to his teacher to meet another teacher to seek for knowledge. It
Mm.
actually tells you how knowledge is diverse. Things you might be seeing in your own perspective as a
Hmm.
contradiction might not be a contradiction to somebody.
Of course.
Yes. So I found out that in order to understand the teachings of the Quran, one solely has to submit to God, because the reason is the Quran belongs to God. It doesn't belong to the people nor to the Arabs.
Yes.
It might be for the people, but it doesn't belong to the people.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so there's a difference. For instance, I give an example. We have something maybe in America called the Disneyland, right? That Disneyland belongs to Disney, but it is for the people, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't belong to the people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you get the analogy I'm giving here.
Yes. Yes. I've got you.
So similarly, the Quran belongs to God, but it
Mm-hmm.
is for the people, but not belonging to the people.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying that, I found out that in order to understand the teachings of the Quran, one has to solely submit himself to God and actually call on God in order to gain the permission from God before grasping the knowledge of the Quran.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is
So
this something that you do every time you approach the book or approach study, or?
most of the times, if my faith is actually going down,
Mm-hmm.
I try to caution myself before
Mm-hmm.
approaching the Quran. And when I say my
Yes.
faith is going down, because faith is more like a balance. It's like an equilibrium, right? You put it,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a scale where it can go like this and go up.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where you can be in the highest form of faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are times where you feel so. you feel so down, like down spirited. And by this, what I'm saying is sometimes we get preoccupied with the worldly life, meaning
Yes.
our work life, our family,
Mhm.
our kids, and so on. So we get
Sure.
so distracted that it makes us have little time to focus on
Yes.
God.
Yes. Of course. It takes you out of the zone. I
Ex-
understand.
Exactly. So that's what I mean by that. So I
Mhm.
decided to take up this mantle to form
Yes.
myself in a position where I can be in a regular connection with the Quran
Mhm.
on,
Mhm.
even if it's not a daily basis, it has to be weekly basis.
Yes. Well,
And that,
I'm very pleased. I'm very happy to hear this from you. I'm very pleased because, we're involved. Well, you don't know. That's why I'm talking to you now.
Mhm.
We are in the process of revamping our online presence. And this is to help preserve the legacy. About just over a month ago, I almost died again. So I'm a bit focused on getting certain things done so that I take advantage of the time that's left. I have an awareness that I don't want to waste the time.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
understand.
see.
I
So
understand.
anyway, we're revamping our online presence, and we have we have one brother who's been a student has given us a dedicated server. Now have someone who we can rely on to help with the back end. We have also someone to help with marketing. We don't have much of a budget, but we have something. Now, what we want to do when this is all up and done, we're going to do the SEO marketing thing and all of that this year.
Yeah,
Within the next, I'm launching a new book on marriage. Okay, and I'm going to call it Your Closest Neighbor. And part of our marketing strategy using that book is to guide traffic to our website because almost nobody's coming there now.
yeah,
Nobody knows we're there. It's that sort of thing, and to get that coordinated with my name. Now, once this is done, it's going to take another 3 4 months or so
yeah,
to get all these ducks in a row. Okay, so once that's done, Amina has it in mind to have some sort of a formalized Arabic course,
yeah,
which is going to be funded by the students. Okay,
yeah,
and she's looking. We are actively looking for people like yourself to mentor this program.
yeah,
We have one or two people already in mind who are going to actively be involved in the mentoring process. But from the story of the Hindu story of the elephant,
yeah,
we want to we want to stand around this thing and have as many inputs from as many different perspectives as possible. And so we're this is some sort of a cooperative thing where I think there might be some revenue coming in, there'll be revenue sharing, this sort of thing. But I don't expect a big overflowing audience. But I do expect that Allah will bring those students to us because the teachers are ready.
yeah, yeah. Sure.
That's the sunnah.
Yeah, yes. When the teachers are ready, why not? The student will come in the classroom. Yeah.
Mhm.
I believe in this. This is how I started. Like when I started, I never took what I was doing so serious to the extent of getting equipment or getting things in place. I was like, I have the message. Let me go out there. Then I
Yes.
started to have people who were concerned and started telling
Hmm.
me, brother, you could set up your studio. You could do this. You could do that. You could do that. I was like, really? And I was like, yeah. They say your message is beautiful, but
Hmm.
you need to get things in the right shape.
Yes.
So I started to realize that, wow, somebody can be a good driver of a car, but he might not have a good car.
Yes.
So in this instance, he will need a good car in order
Hmm.
to drive safely. So
Yes.
because it's not only about driving, it's about safe driving also.
Hmm.
So then I luckily God blessed me with people who came along my way and also helped in to support what I do until I got to this point. And somebody like Dr. Omar Zaid can actually see me and call me to his platform, which is an honor. as well. So
Oh, thank you.
imagine if I was still stuck in the mud as the way I started. I don't think
Mhm.
the attention will get to the point for even Brian to bring my issue to you on the table.
Well, it's well, yeah. I suppose that's true. And there's this truth in this thing that you in this thing, the law of attraction. Okay,
Exactly.
but you have to be patient, and
Yes,
you also have to be awake so that you can discern the moment and then act on it.
of course.
It-
Of
you
course.
know, it's like the grace of God being handed to you from the other side of the veil, and you don't take it. You see, you just kind of
Exactly.
sit,
Exactly.
look at it. No, I take it when it happens, when the
Of
moment
course.
arises.
To be honest, I've actually turned down a lot of offers from people who were willing to support me, to
Uh,
support what I do, what be
yes.
it financially, or I turn them down, to be honest. A
Hmm.
lot of people, because that, number one, that wasn't my objective, to come online seeking for appealing
Hmm.
for funds or things to
Hmm.
get support. But then I started having people who were actually willing to do it for God. It's not like because they think
Yes,
I might
there
need
are
money.
those.
Yes,
Hmm.
they want to actually support the word of God. They said,
Yeah.
"Hey, dude, your message deserve a million audience. You need to get
Yes.
out there." So
Hmm.
so I had a lovely brother called Mohammed, who
Hmm.
actually gave me a helping hand in setting up my things and becoming serious with what I do.
Hmm.
And as I was impressed by what you said when you said when you saw a young man as me who doing taking up this kind of mantle to actually do this. It was actually impressive. Yes, I had a lot of people who gave me the same feedback, because I'm somebody who is married with kids, and my life is so tight up that I have to divide my moments in order to have time to lecture people at the same time, be with my kids and my
Yes,
family.
of course.
It's never easy.
Hmm.
But if for you, I put it as a focus in my head that I
Hmm.
put God first. My family
Yes.
knows that. My father knows that. My brothers, my siblings, my kids, they all know I put God first before
Hmm.
anything else. The reason why, because it's a if these are words of wisdom, I'm saying the reason why I say I put God first, because I come from God and I'll go back to God.
Hmm.
And when I'm going back to God, it doesn't matter whether you have 10 kids, 20 kids, five, two wives, 10 wives. God can take you away from them anytime He wants.
Yes.
You understand? So, so the thing I keep reminding my family is, look, my first objective is
Hmm.
to please God. That's my main objective. Then, if I make sure I'm okay with God, then now I can look at my family. You
Hmm.
want to look at their face, look at my kids, make sure they are also happy before I look at the people outside.
Yes.
But sometimes my family think, "Oh, you don't give us enough time," because even though I squeeze my time up to 1 day so that I can lecture people just for 1 day out of a week, 1 day.
Hmm.
But the feedback I got from my family, of course, not necessarily my kids, but the feedback I was getting from my family is, "Oh, even though you are with us, but I think you miss your people, because it seems people are calling you, people are sending messages, people
Hmm.
are trying to ask you questions, people are trying to do this and that." And so then I realized, I was like, "Oh my God, now I know where I've put myself now," you know, because when you lay down yourself to serve God, and you are actually trying to liberate the people, you have a lot of weight to carry.
Yes. Hmm.
And it's never an easy task, and especially when I see mature people or elderly people actually giving me the props and giving me the thumbs up for actually acknowledging that you are even a young guy and taking up this mantle. It even impresses them the more,
Hmm.
because they think maybe most of the young guys have other what things to take care of, instead of actually focusing on,
Sensationalism
yeah, you know
or games.
exactly, playing games, or
Yeah.
so
No, no. Let's. let's do what we can. I understand your limitations, and I understand a bit more about you now, and I think that there's room for us to investigate further how we can work together and define this relationship as time goes
Sure.
by God's grace, because I think that's it's only by God's grace that we're able
Exactly.
to have
Yeah.
this encounter. So, what I'd like you to do is um, join us on Alginko on Telegram. I'll
Okay.
have Amina make sure you have those connections, and it just makes it. We can just set up a group for us there, and then it's easier just to contact each other. She
Sure.
doesn't have this WhatsApp, and I can't get it to apply to my computer, so it's a little bit awkward since I'm the only one that can talk to you. Now, once we've got that communication center sorted out, then you just let me know and let Amina know because she's the one that does the scheduling.
Yeah. Yeah.
She keeps me from falling out of bed, you know. So
Okay.
anyway, um, she does all this wonderful things that I just don't have the patience to do or the ability to do anymore.
Well, we
So,
appreciate that. Yeah, we
yes.
appreciate that effort.
So you let her know when you have time
Yeah.
to spend time with us, and you discuss with her, not immediately, but give it some thought, give it some prayer, the idea of this language class and how you might approach its structuring, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. There's Alginko Telegram right up there on the chat box. Do you see it?
Let me see. Alvinco. Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, that's how you join us there on Telegram, and then we'll be able to keep in touch there. And meanwhile, you get back to whatever it is that you're doing. I thank you for this time, and I look forward to doing something with you sometime soon.
Yeah,
We
sure.
have a busy schedule coming up with the holidays here, but I think there's from time to time we might have some time. Let's go by your scheduling. Okay. This afternoon time is okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. This
And,
mostly this afternoon time is perfect for me because then
and even into the evening if we need to go, as far as
yeah,
I'm concerned.
sure.
What time is it there for you in Finland right now?
Right now it is 11:48.
In the morning?
No, and that
Or
is 11, that is 23:48. That is,
oh, okay. That's
yeah.
you're approaching midnight.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
approaching midnight.
So
And
so you'll have a small window and I don't want to keep you up late. I don't think
no,
that's healthy.
actually for me, this
Yeah.
is usually the perfect timing.
Oh, okay, because the
Yes,
kids
yes.
are in bed.
Yeah, kids
Yeah.
are in bed, everybody. So this is a
Okay.
perfect timing for me, usually,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Very good.
so I don't usually have problems with this timing.
Okay.
I can even stay up for 2 hours more
All right.
around this
Good.
time because that is the best time I focus. I do my lectures, I do my programs,
Mm.
my talks. That is the best time I can have all the time to myself.
Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll set up a chat group on Telegram for you, me, Brian, and Amina, and then you let us know what days and what times you're going to be available. Brian will sync with that, and then Amina will sync it with me and our schedule so that we can get this all done. Okay.
Sure, sure. We
So
can.
I gave you the formula. Brian's going to introduce some sort of topical current event thing that's going to get everybody interested. That's the
Yeah.
closest we're going to get to sensationalism.
Of
Okay.
course, of course.
So then I'll give some feedback on it from a metaphysical perspective or some historical perspective or some socio-political philosophical perspective. God knows what will pop into my mind at that moment. And then I'll exhaust that and then I'll turn to you and say, Baba, does this predicament or situation present itself anywhere in the Quran?
Yeah.
You see? There you go. And I think we have a formula there to get us off the ground. This will be our Wright brothers plane.
Exactly, exactly. It's a beautiful idea. I like the concept. I like the concept, like I said, and this is a kind of concept I think I've been in that position before because this is what I do, because mostly my phone number is out there where people try to reach out to me, ask me questions pertaining to certain issues, whether
Hmm.
be it medical, be it
Hmm.
you know, philosophy, psychological, be it anything. People just
Sure.
ask, and then they'll ask me my point of view from the Quran, if this
Sure.
has a Quranic concept. And like
Hmm.
I said, to every statement in the Quran, there are different perspectives to it. You can look at it
Yes,
from different angle, because Quran is a word of wisdom. You
that's good.
understand? It's called
Yes.
itself Quran al Hakim, the wise Quran. So if something is
Mhm.
wise, you always have to go to it for wisdom.
Alhamdulillah.
So and
That's
this is the point.
wonderful.
Yeah, this is the point. So I in my position, I've never had a problem with people who can see things from a different perspective. I never had a problem with that, because I understand how diverse knowledge can be, and
Mm.
especially knowledge backed up with wisdom is unique.
Yeah,
So when I see
we
people
want to
speak,
do a synthesis. We want to
yeah,
synthesize the knowledge bank here
yeah,
and approach Tawheed. That's what my goal is with
exactly.
all of this. So I'm attracting various types of people with various bags of knowledge and bringing them together and presenting these things in a fashion that will help people to realize what they don't know and what they should know and the difference between them.
Exactly. It is important. I agree with that concept. No
Okay,
doubt.
brother. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Thank you
until we
very
meet
much.
again,
And
inshallah.
similar to you, same to you. Thank you. Blessed. Stay blessed.
You're
May
welcome.
God keep you safe. Peace. Salam alaikum.